is the greatest mystery in the universe. Despite millions of hours of research by scientists all over the world, less is known about it than any other organ. It is made of between 10 and 15 million cells, connected by fibers long enough to stretch from the Earth to the Moon 3 times. It has the storage capacity of 50 million floppy disks. It is the bridge between the abstract and the physical worlds. It is the home of the mind. It is the only organ capable of understanding, yet no one understands quite how it works. It has enabled mankind to rule the Earth, yet weighs only 3 pounds and has the consistency of blancmange. It is the human brain, probably the best computer in the world.
I think I'm psychic. I can see in the dark. I'm not normal. And the alley cats bark. Psychic. My piranha fish grouse. I'm growing in the town. Psychic. I can see in the dark. I'm not normal. And the alley cats bark. Psychic. My piranha fish grouse. I'm growing in the town. In this world, you don't have to be crazy, but it helps.
Oh, brain. Oh, brain, you are not in my knee. You are not up a tree. You are not in my foot. You are not in a hut. You are not in my stomach. You are in my head. Thank you.
Hello again and welcome to another edition of the Time Tunnel Chat Show, the program that brings you personalities from the world of history thanks to the magic of the Time Tunnel. Today's program is all about the brain, and my guests are from ancient Greece, Hippocrates, from 17th century France, Descartes, and from 19th century America, Phineas Gage. And here they are. Hello, gentlemen, please come in and take a seat. Well, moving to you first, Hippocrates. Now, I believe that you were one of the first people to realize the importance of the brain.
That is correct. Before me, people believed all our emotions and feelings as coming from our heart, or stomach, or kidneys. Even Aristotle thought the brain was unimportant. But of course, I realized that it is through our brain that we feel pain or pleasure, happiness or unhappiness, joy or sorrow.
Yeah, that's plenty, thank you.
Love or hate, gladness or sadness, fear or courage.
Shut up, will you? Now we move on to our second guest in the program today, Descartes, the famous French philosopher who died in the year 1650. Now, Descartes, you're often referred to as the father of modern philosophy, which probably means that you did quite a lot of thinking.
Yeah, oui.
Well, that must have been a bit boring, sitting around on your bottom all day thinking. Couldn't you have thought of something more interesting to do?
Philosophy is very interesting and very important.
Oh, come on. Philosophy's a bit of a waste of time.
No, not at all. It's thinking about things. Questions like, do we have a free will? Does man have a soul? Is the human body a machine operated by the brain?
So there we are. Philosophy is important after all. Well, thank you, Descartes. We now move on to our final guest. Now, you're not a doctor or a philosopher, are you?
No, just an ordinary guy, Phineas Gage, that's my name.
So what did you do?
Well, I lived in America in the 19th century. I was working as a foreman in a quarry, and I was blasting some rock, and the force of the explosion drove a 4-foot-long iron rod straight through my head.
And killed you?
No, I didn't even lose consciousness.
You're kidding.
No, you see, it went straight through my left cheek here, up into my brain, and then out the top of my head.
You're pulling my leg.
No.
What? You mean a 4-foot iron rod went through your head and didn't even kill you?
That's right. In fact, I lived on for another 12 years. The accident didn't do me any harm at all.
Well, that is incredible. Actually, I think we've got the iron rod here, so I'll just pass it over to you there, Descartes. Now, apparently, it didn't even change your personality, and the only difference it made was that you became more bad-tempered.
Bad-tempered?
Yes.
Me? Not me, no. I'll never get bad-tempered. It's not a fault of this, anyway. Not me. Never bad-tempered. I've had enough of this. I'm getting out of here now. Continue to talk about
So there we are, the brain. We think with it, we think about it. And if we're Phineas Gage, we have a 4-foot iron rod stuck right through it.
I heard that.
So from the Time Tunnel Chat Show, goodbye. Well, what did you think about that then, Descartes?
It's interesting you should ask me that, because I was thinking I love you. I was also thinking if the eyes are the windows of the soul, you have beautiful net curtains.
Hello, Simon Queasy on the brain. Primitive man had no concept of disease as a natural occurrence. For example, headaches were put down to the presence of evil spirits in the head. To release these evil spirits, prehistoric man conducted the first brain operations. From skeletons dug up all over the world, there is evidence of a simple operation called trepanning. Trepanning was a way of making a hole in the skull through which these evil spirits could escape. Now, this hole could be made in 3 different ways: drilling, scraping, or gouging. The patient would be held down by 3 strong men while the tribal healer would drill, scrape, or gouge away using sharpened flints. The healer would chew on a leaf containing a pain-killing drug, so that if the patient started to writhe around in agony, the healer could spit into the open wound. Simon Queasy, take 44, spit into the open wound. Surprisingly, many people survived this operation, but fortunately, it doesn't happen anymore, which is just as well, because I've got a bit of a headache. Now, perhaps I can show you... No, maybe not. Oh, Simon, it doesn't... No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's no good.
This is stupid. I think I'm just thinking about thinking. What are you thinking about?
The mind-body problem.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's that then?
It's a big one.
Yeah? What is it?
Are the mind and the brain 2 separate things?
What do you mean?
The brain is a physical thing. You can see it, you can touch it. The mind is an abstract thing. You can't see it, you can't touch it. So, are the mind and the brain 2 separate things, or is the mind the same thing as the brain?
Okay. I'll have a think about it. I think the mind isn't the same thing as the brain. Can't be.
What?
I think the mind's something else. It's not physical at all.
How? If your mind isn't physical, how come it can affect your brain? How can airy-fairy thoughts and feelings turn into nerve impulses and muscle movements?
Okay. I think they're the same.
What?
I think the mind is the same as the brain. Got to be.
Oh, you do you? Well, then how come our brains can think about ourselves? How come we've got feelings? How come you can think about what it feels like to be you? What do you mean by you? Your brain?
I don't know. I can't make up my mind.
The most fantastic thing about memory is
And the most remarkable part of the body is the brain. In my case, it's the only part of my body. But in your case, Ventriloquus, what was I telling you? Ventriloquus, you are a complete disaster. You are useless. Not only are you ugly, unpleasant, ignorant, and greedy...
Now, hang on just one moment. Ugly, unpleasant, ignorant, greedy. Yeah, fair enough. Go on.
But also, you fall asleep. You're a waste of space. You don't appreciate brains for what they are, and this brain is quitting right now.
Okay, wise guy. I may not be the brains of the outfit, but I have got lots of money.
What use is that?
I can buy an artificial brain.
You mean a computer? Don't make me laugh. They can't replace a brain like me.
Hey, you! Get me a computer! The biggest and the best and the most expensive one you've got. Now, okay? Right, now go away, I'm busy. Brain?
Yes?
Shut up. Hey, this is amazing. This is much better than a brain. It says here it can make 1,000,000 calculations a second. It has the memory storage of facts as big as the biggest library in the world. And...
It's completely incapable of thought.
What? Don't be ridiculous. This thing can outthink you any day. Here, try this. What is the square root of 2 to 9 decimal places?
Let me think a minute.
A minute? My computer can do it in 1,000,000th of a second.
Okay, let's have a race.
Right, you're on. Ready, steady, go. Right. Come on.
Divided by 4, carry 3.
Come on. Oh, brain, there's something wrong.
Ventriloquist, that computer might be the biggest and the best in the world, but it can't understand anything.
What?
You can't just talk to it. You have to type the problem in.
Oh.
The answer is 1.4142135562. You have to learn a computer language before the computer can understand you. You need brains to do that. That computer isn't clever enough to understand English, and even you can understand English.
Wow, so really, I'm cleverer than a computer?
Of course.
Right, well, I won't need this then. Get out! Oh, I forgot it doesn't understand English, does it?
Damn, nearly my high score. Hate computers.
There are many futures. This is but one of them. 1,000 years from now, evil threatens planet Earth. But this is an evil that mankind could avoid. A lone renegade scientist gives all generations hope. He sends the World Library of Knowledge back through time. It is discovered by a schoolgirl. She now has access to more information than the Pentagon. She must learn to use it wisely.
Hi, Nora. Where are we going?
You have no reason to hate computers.
But it always beats me. I feel so small.
It shouldn't. Compared to your brain, the computer is a mere toy. I shall leave your knowledge guide to explain why.
Want to see how some of the brain works?
Yeah.
Right. This is you sitting playing the computer game, right? Memory, go to screen. Okay, you'll notice that you are about to get zapped at the moment. Obviously, what you have to do is move, and fast. The light from the screen travels straight into the eye. It goes straight through and hits the back of the eye. This starts a little electric charge which travels downward of
What
V.
is that?
Cancel, memory, run, please. I'm sorry I thought you knew all of this. It's the basic unit of the brain. It's called a neuron. They're really like electric wires. Change secondary screen, please. These are the nerve endings that collect all the information for the brain. They are all over your body. Temperature and pressure sensors in your skin, smell detectors, taste, light sensors in the eye, thousands of millions of them. And whenever one is triggered, it sends off an electric signal down this long bit to the other end where it passes it on to another neuron.
Is that all I am? Is a bunch of wiring?
Okay, once we've entered the nervous system, there's a whole lot of processing to be done by the brain. This is just one piece of the picture from both eyes, which all travel to the bit of the brain where the pictures get worked out and understood. Now it really gets complicated because each new brain cell that we enter could send its signal to as many as 25,000 other cells. No one really knows how thoughts are generated because the wiring diagram for your brain would use up a whole forest of paper and it still wouldn't be right.
So what are we waiting for?
Ah, here we go. This is the part of the brain responsible for moving the muscles in your finger. From the nerve ending to the muscle, the finger moves. Let's see how you did. Too slow, sis. Even though that whole thing only took a matter of microseconds.
See, I told you the computer was better than me.
Oh, no. That was just one pathway among billions and billions in your brain. While you were playing that game, your brain was also keeping you breathing, keeping your heart going, keeping you upright, eating your food in your stomach, hundreds and hundreds of jobs. Your brain was just sidetracked a little in the middle of telling your finger to press the button. If you practice a little more, though, it'll learn a shortcut and you'll get faster. Try it.
No.
in my mind.
Oh, blimey.
In the many caverns of my mind, who knows what you could find? Lots of wonderful thoughts and brilliant ideas, worries, hopes, dreams and fears. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Data record entry 822.57ZB, subsection 49, open file. Planet 3764 Earth. Humans have between 10 and 15,000 million brain cells, but every day 1,000 of these cells are lost and not replaced.
Program interrupt. How long would a human have to live before entire stock of brain cells had been lost?
40,000 years.
Terminate inquiry. Proceed data.
No relationship has been established between brain size and intelligence.
Largest human brains twice normal size belong to idiots.
Proceed data. The human brain is 85% water.
Water? No wonder they are so stupid.
What are you doing?
I'm doing an IQ test.
Oh, IQ test, eh? What's an IQ test?
It's a series of questions to find out how intelligent you are.
Oh, let's have a go. Go on, ask me some questions.
All right. What's the odd one out? Bicycle, car, sledge, horse and cart.
Oh, it's an easy one. Sledge.
No, car. Right, next question.
No, wait a minute. No, there must be some sort of mistake. Check the answer again.
Car.
It must be sledge. It's the only one that's a form of transport.
Don't be stupid. They're all forms of transport. A car's the only one that has an engine.
They're not all forms of transport. I mean, if we were on the ice, what use would a bicycle be, eh? You wouldn't get anywhere. Or with a car. And as for a horse and cart, I mean, the horse would be sliding about all over the place. All forms of transport.
Look, in most countries, they are all forms of transport. But the car's the only one that has an engine. That's why it's the odd one out.
Well, it didn't say that in the question, did it? It didn't say if you were in a different country, which one would be the odd one out. Now, did it?
I thought I was stupid, but you really take the biscuit. Look, you're wrong. Stop trying to pretend that you're not.
All right. All right, I've got an IQ question I'd like to ask you of a more practical nature.
All right, go on, go on.
If I give you my fishing rod...
Yeah?
And then I take my apple and my biscuit...
Yeah?
Your apple and your biscuit, go around here and go away, what does that leave you with?
Fishing, apple... No lunch.
Did you know that the brainiest person in the world's got a brain no heavier than this 1.5 kilos of porridge?
Well, I never knew that.
Whereas the biggest computers would fill this entire supermarket, but they wouldn't be anything like as intelligent as you or me.
I never knew that. I never did.
Our brains control our bodies and allow us to do amazing things. Things that animals can't do, like talking or juggling. Well, nobody's perfect. But things like launching rockets towards the moon, or using computers as big as that supermarket. One of the ways our brains can do this is by making the different parts do different jobs. Now, your backbone is an extension of your brain. It does a very good job protecting your body, like pulling your hand away when it gets near something hot, or by lifting your foot if you step on something sharp. Where the backbone joins the brain is an area that looks after your heartbeat, your breathing, and your blood pressure. It also controls organs like your liver and your kidneys as well.
I never knew that!
This part at the bottom of the brain controls your face, mouth, and eye movements. The outer part of the brain, which is divided into two halves, helps control your muscle movements, so it helps you move from left into right, and then again in a straight line, and also makes you put your hands where you want them to go. The right half of the brain controls the left-hand side of the body, and the left half of the brain controls the right-hand side of the body. And it's no different with mental skills. The left-hand half of the brain covers those skills which are practical, like naming things or learning maths, while the right side of the brain is concerned with your artistic abilities, like painting or playing a musical instrument. Just above the part of the brain that controls our facial movements is a part just there where people used to think the soul resided. We don't think that now, but we do think that that part there controls our body clocks. Beneath it is a very important area which has been nicknamed the master gland by some people because it releases hormones into the blood which control the rate at which we grow. The brain's a very complicated beast, but basically you could say the lower half of the brain controls our body movement, while the middle part of the brain interprets the messages from our senses. The very outer layer of the brain is concerned with those abilities that set humans apart. Abilities like memory, intelligence, language, and creative thought. Abilities that computers simply haven't got.
Of all the things I never knew that the mostest.
You're tuned to Earth Channel 451. Over now to Holly Graham in our satellite studio for the latest news.
Hi there. I'm Holly Graham bringing you the latest news. Dateline August the 1st, 2050. The world's first biological computer made entirely of living tissue was switched on today and given its first problem. The computer, whose operation closely resembles that of the human brain, was fed a long and complicated algebraic equation. After an hour's hard thinking, it burst into tears, asked for an aspirin, and promptly fell asleep. Thank you.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a headache, which is why I wish to talk to you about the brain. Well, what is the brain?
How would you know? You haven't got one.
This is the brain. It is a highly complex machine. Also, it is very fragile, which is why we have a skull to protect it. Luckily, I have a very, very thick skull and a very, very big brain. Also, the brain has the same consistency as porridge. Now, did you ever see a bowl of porridge with a headache? I've got something for you to chew over. Also, the brain itself is incapable of feeling any pain. So why do people get headaches? Some people go through their whole lives without headaches. Other people get headaches all the time. Some people get very, very big headaches. These are called migraines. What we know about migraines can be written down on the back of 2 postcards. Until now. I have been putting a lot of thought to the problem of migraines today, which is why I have a headache. Next week, aspirin. The week after, glass of water. The week after that, maybe a fortnight's holiday. I don't know.
Get him on.
Well, Garth, what do you think? Millions of years of evolution and all for this. Dry land.
Oh, I don't know, Stuart. I mean, I'm used to sea life, you know? Swimming about, looking for things to eat, then eating them, and then swimming about a bit more. I mean, I like it. I don't think I'm equipped for all this.
Well, we'll have to think a bit more to stay alive, that's all. We'll use our brains. It'll be a challenge.
Use our what?
Our brains. They've been getting bigger to help us cope with the problems of intellectual life as land creatures.
You think you're so smart, Stuart?
Well, I am. Now, once we've lost these flippers, we'll use our magnificent big brains to build schools, to help satisfy our thirst for knowledge, to ask those vital questions. Who are we? Where did we come from?
We are fish. We came from the sea.
All right. Well, that's that one answered then.
Fancy a swim?
Yeah, okay.
Open up your heart and let it sing. Open up your mind, you'll feel it happening. Deep inside the darkness all around. Fight to make it light, don't let it get you
Did you know that from the age of 18, the human brain loses 1,000 cells a day? That means if you're over 18, while you've been watching this programme, you've lost 20 brain cells. And it serves you right. You shouldn't be watching this programme anyway. You're far too old. Go away.